There are about 42 days until spring, Marciano, but it's never too early to think about your travel plans. Experts say prices at the grocery store, American diet culture, and even AI has transformed the way we travel. Condé Nast put together a list of the top travel trends for spring 2026, and some of these may already be on your travel itinerary. I want to bring in Lale Arikoglu. She is the articles director of Condé Nast Traveler. Lale, good to see you.
Great to be here.
Thanks for coming by. So as we eat and drink and how that is changing with the popularity of these GLP-1s, how is that impacting travel?
You know, it's really interesting that you mentioned grocery prices in America, because all over TikTok at the moment are people traveling and posting in grocery stores. Because
wow, and not just Erewhon.
No, I mean, that's true.
Yeah, you got that
No,
too.
these are like 7-Elevens in Japan. Oh. It's an amazing place to get souvenirs. If you're curious about the culture of the place you're visiting and you want to feel like a local, there's kind of nowhere more local than going to the grocery store.
Right.
And I mean, I went on a trip to Japan a few years ago, and when I went to the 7-Eleven, I was grabbing matcha-flavored Kit Kats. The snacks are amazing.
Yeah.
It's all these things you can't find elsewhere.
When I lived in Japan, I would buy my dinner.
I was going to say, my 7-Eleven in Beijing, I would literally have my lunch for like $1, and it was delicious.
You buy like steaks.
Yeah, like
you
a
buy
buffet.
anything you wanted.
But let's move on, because we can't just talk about 7-Eleven. Museums were, of course, hit by the pandemic. How are they bouncing back?
They've got amazing immersive experiences. I mean, I think museums are sort of playing in a little bit to Instagram and TikTok, but they're really seeing,
true.
And you can't resist it.
Sometimes you go and you're like, it's not like the picture. That happened to me.
First time you saw the Mona Lisa, you're like, I thought it was much bigger.
I was like, I thought she was smiling, but now I can't tell.
You're like, oh, she's a bit small.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about traveling with human intelligence as opposed to artificial intelligence.
Great question, and I think on the top of many people's minds, I mean, AI and ChatGPT are in the conversation constantly, and it's really changed the way that people are planning their trips. I mean, you can talk to a bot and it will curate a whole itinerary for you, but what it can't do is actually speak to the human experience of being there. And at Condé Nast Traveler, we work with all of these amazing travel specialists who, you know, will be able to tell you that hole-in-a-wall place in Seoul that you couldn't find. It's not written about anywhere. And, you know, it would be remiss of me not to plug Condé Nast Traveler and say you can also follow our editors.
I often, honestly, if I'm traveling, I'll go to Condé Nast just to...
Yeah, me too.
I love their recommendations. Let's talk about airport lounges, because they have gotten lavish, or so I hear.
Okay, let's see. I want to hear what you have to say about this.
Okay, I feel like this is the trend that I have to, like, convince viewers on, because we know airports don't feel particularly glam these days. But yes, lounges are getting amazing. There's a Capital One lounge in JFK that opened recently that has its own cheesemonger. But what's really interesting is that
I'm getting closer. I want to hear this.
Airports are also trying to improve themselves as civic spaces. They're adding green spaces for people when they're killing time in. They are trying to bring in the local destination. I don't know if you've gone to LaGuardia recently, but it feels a little bit like New York City.
Yeah, it does.
They have a lot of New York art.
And I did tell Ed Bastian when he was on CBS Mornings, I did tell him that the CEO of Delta, that the steak frites at Los Angeles International Airport in the Delta Lounge is like restaurant level.
Wow. Okay,
but what?
I'm filing this away.
It is.
Okay, but like most of our viewers, I think, like sit at the gate, right? Like, are lounges really worth it?
That was my question for you, which is that like the lounges now feel like they're more every person than they ever were, because you walk in there and there's like 50,000 people.
Right, and that's difficult. And so I think some airports are trying to respond to that. So Portland Airport actually is a really good example, because it has done this huge renovation. It has a new terminal. It's won awards for trying to make the whole experience, before you even check in, before you get to the gate, actually feel pleasant.
Although they still like run close second to you. Lived in Asia, I lived in Asia. I mean, Singapore Airport or Hong Kong.
Singapore.
Hong Kong?
I been to Hong Kong.
Changi Airport in Singapore is the sort of like creme de la creme of airport experiences.
There's nothing better. Lale, thank you very much. What an informative day. Thank you. Appreciate it.